Hey yo, what is going on guys, Cash and Clean here, and for today's video I just wanted to make a video for all of you returning players to Trove, because I do get asked this a lot on my streams and just in general, but a lot of you guys like take a break from Trove, they add more content, and maybe you guys don't have like a direction to go in or like what to look out for pretty much. So this video is just going to be talking about for all of you returning players, and you know, if you want to check out the video in general, you can do that as well. And in the gameplay provided, if you're brand new to Trove, this probably wouldn't really make sense, but this is a 5-star dungeon in U11 in the new biome, but we'll cover all that in just a little bit here. So if you're still fairly new to Trove and you took a break back in like, I don't know, 2015, 2016, and you're just coming back now, there's a really good chance that you haven't done the quest lines. So if you haven't already, press B on your, or press I on your keyboard. I changed my keybinds, and if you're on console, I'm not sure what button that is, but you can figure out what button that is. But just bring up the menu, just go to your quests, find like the beginning quests. You're going to be taken through some tutorials, like marketplace stuff, just like where everything is in the hub. It'll give you gems, it'll tell you how to advance with the game, which I kind of like. They can do a little bit of a better job of doing that, but it is pretty nice for new people for sure. If you do get to the point where you have to go to the Geode caves, that's going to be a bit confusing. You can skip that quest line for later once you're more comfortable at Trove, but for now you can just stick wherever you are. Just, you know, play the game like how you normally would, level up your characters, just try out different classes, just get a feel for the game pretty much. And that kind of brings me to my next point. If you are returning from like a really long time ago, you're gonna see that shadow towers are pretty much useless now, and there's something called delves. And if you don't know, then now you know. And if you don't know what delves are, it's pretty much something that I don't really enjoy, but you pretty much just go through this very long annoying tunnel. You have to complete an objective, and then after that objective you have to go all the way to the boss room, and you'll kind of just get the hang of it the more you do it. But you just follow the path. You can only go in one direction. Sometimes the cave splits off and it's really annoying, but either way, just go to the boss room, fight the boss, press E on the portal. I don't know what that is on console. Stay at the portal, don't leave the portal, and then, you know, once it opens, then you can go through the portal or do whatever you want to. But that probably won't make sense if you haven't done delves, but pretty much just look out for that. And the reason why I said it took over shadow towers is because you get your lunar souls and all of that good lunar souls, titan souls, all that good stuff, you know, the spoiled divinities, all in delves now. Just open 6 shadowy vaults, and shadowy vaults appear every 3rd room. So if you really wanted to, you can start at like depth 20, because I think after depth 20 you can start getting shadowy vaults. Every 3rd room you'll get one. You just need keys, and you can just use the keys to unlock whatever you need, aka the shadowy vault. And you can kind of tie this in with crystal 4 farming, but we'll get into that later. Next up, we go into events, mastery, new content. They do add all this stuff every single year, every single holiday. Like everything that you've seen in previous years return with newer things. So if you have missed an item for whatever reason, you just didn't play or you just took a break, you're gonna have to look out for that next year, and if it's not next year, then you'll have to figure out some kind of way to get that item. But if you're not fully focused on mastery and you just kind of want to play the game casually, then you don't really have to worry about that. Next up, we do have U11. There is a Uber 11 right now out. It came out about a couple months ago here on PC, and with U11 they came out with this new biome that you can see me farming in right now, this Sundered Uplands biome. And you probably already noticed, but there's also the elemental worlds. You can go to U11. There's also Geode topside. You can go to Uber 11, and that's just a place where you can get crystal gems now, so that's another thing that they added to the game. So if you're used to your stellar gems, you're gonna have to upgrade those to crystal gems, which you can do. There is a converter, but it's really expensive to do that. So if you haven't invested too much time in your stellar gems, you can look forward to just getting new crystal gems. And if you're stuck on getting power rank and light, which are the requirements to get into U11, you can check out my previous video for all of that. I do have a power rank guide and I do have a light guide. It was my last 2 videos, I think. But towards the end of this video, you'll see like playlists of my tutorials and also for character builds. So if you want to check that out, you can at the end of the video. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that they added new characters as well, so look out for that. So depending on when you left and came back, there's Bard, there's Vanguard, there's also Solarion, that's the latest one. And Solarion just being the best DPS character out right now. But yeah, that's something to look out for. Some cool characters for sure. And as far as I know, the Sweet 16 pack cannot get you Bard or Solarion. I think it gets you Vanguard. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it does. Not the other 2 though. So that kind of brings us to our next point of like what you're supposed to do, because it does feel overwhelming when you're like just coming back from Trove. It feels like there's a lot to do. But I like to think of it like this: just tackle one thing at a time. Once you're comfortable, you can kind of just add more things to your plate, if that makes sense. So like if you just wanted to focus farming dragons, like maybe you have to wait until it's Friday because Fridays are Dragon Day. You can also focus some other things, like I usually just tell people level up your characters, and as you're leveling up characters, do your hourly coin challenges, as you can see on the screen. Those challenges will give you dragon coins, and you'll need a bunch of those to get your dragons. Next up, if you're still new to the game and you haven't finished your quest lines, I would just do your quest lines. Those are pretty important to do. I kind of already talked about that. And then the biggest thing I want to say is try to get an efficient farming class. If you can get one character that can farm everything for you and farm other stuff for your other characters, then that's pretty much where you want to go at. Or if you're in a situation where you have a really good DPS character, like say you have Solarion, and that's a really good DPS character, you can also farm with that character, so you can kind of do both with the character. It just kind of depends on which classes you like and want to play. And I already mentioned, farming crystal gems in U11. You can just check out my previous guides on how to get more power rank, get more light, and how to get some crystal empowered gems and all that good stuff. And another thing that I wanted to talk about when it goes back to delves, I know I'm kind of backtracking here, but there is a lot of content in delves and a lot of things that you need from delves. So depending on your situation in Trove, there are these things called mementos. They are for mastery, and it's pretty much a very useless mastery item, but you do need these. It's like when you do a delve room, there's a certain amount of creatures, and then there's the boss. You can get a memento for one of those. There's also a memento for biomes. So as you just do delves casually, you'll just drop one of these, you can learn it. So you can passively farm those as you're grinding XP, because XP is pretty good in delves, especially if you're farming Paragon levels. That's another thing I forgot to mention. There's Paragon levels as well, so you can go past level 30. I do have a guide for this as well. Once you level up a character to 30, you restart back to level 1. Don't worry, it's normal. You just get certain rewards for reaching a certain level, so prime numbers are good. Just keep that in mind. But going back to delves, you can get the mementos, the XP, crystal gear, and geode resources. There's a bunch of things you can get in delves, like mastery as well. So I would highly recommend making use of that if you haven't already. And then whenever you're not doing that, you can do other things like level up your classes, farm dragons, finish one of your benches like your chaos crafting bench, the mount taming bench, anything like that. And that's the main thing I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to overwhelm you guys with a bunch of things that they added in Trove, because then it's just kind of like, okay, what do I do next type thing. So if you are stuck on a specific thing, there's a good chance that I have a guide on it on my channel. You can check that out if you want to. And if I haven't made a video on it, you can drop something down in the comments down below if you want to check that out. And at the end of my video, I do have an outro where I show 2 different playlists that I have. I have some playlists for Trove, but I put these in particular because there's tutorials and there's one for class builds. I do have a video that talks about every single class build all in one video, and I put timestamps in there. And then my other playlist is just a bunch of tutorials, so if you want to check that out, go for it. But yeah, I talked about a lot in this video, and I feel like I also didn't talk about a lot of things, but those were the main ones that I did want to mention in this video in particular. So if there's something that you found in Trove that is brand new to you, drop it down in the comments below. Kind of curious on what you guys think. And like I said, if there's a tutorial I haven't made, then drop something down and I'll do my best to cover it in a future video. But on that note, hopefully you have enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe if you're brand new to the channel, and I will see you all later.